Hi guys, Erty here. Just a quick stream tonight. Just wanted to talk about an interesting Guardian farm design that I came up with, and thought you guys might like to see it. So it's got a few interesting components. It's kind of multi-purpose. What I've actually got here is a copy of a world that I created this on in survival. So I've opened this world up on my machine and I'm going to take a look around it, but I've also taken the liberty of doing a few extra bits. So you'll notice a couple of things that I showed you before on my gardening farm on the Autocraft server, the slime block, piston, power, doofer. So this is on a server called the Hansap server, and it's run by a bunch of Spanish YouTubers, and they've got an amazing farms and stuff like that. And one thing they didn't have was a Guardian farm, and I was over at this this mob farm with the mod on, and I turned the mod on, and it gave me a bounding box in the water. And there was no farm inside the bounding box. If I just break through here, you can see the blue line there at the top of the farm. And yeah, there was no bounding box. Sorry, there was no actual farm there, although no monument there. But there was a bounding box for a monument. So I'm not quite sure how that happened. But it did mean that there were no Elder Guardians. No Prismarine, none of that stuff. You were getting spawns of the Guardians, but you didn't have to remove anything or kill anything to get going with that. So that minute was really easy. First thing was to create invisibility potion, come into the thing with a bunch of blocks and build a box around it. I used smooth stone. That was something that we've got abundance of. Once that was built, I used gravel and sand gravel and sand and slimes and lava and a bunch of other things to get rid of all of the water inside, and then build this set of mechanisms. So there's a few kind of stages to this farm, and I'll show you more in a little while, but we have the Guardians coming through, they fall through, they also collect through in the middle. They can either go into that portal, which you just saw. If the floor here, this floor here is brought across, then they'll go through into the portal, and there's a collection area in the nether with a killing chamber and so on. Now the only issue with that is that there's so many Guardians that you can only really leave that active for about 5 minutes. So there's a little button at the top that if you push it, it drops an item onto a pressure plate, and that will set the time of the 5-minute despawn time. Then you've got, if that is open, it will fall through one layer of lava into cobwebs, drop through another layer of lava into cobwebs, and they will die in that second layer of cobwebs and drop their loot into the cobwebs, and then slowly that loot will drop out into the water stream, and the water stream has a standard item elevator that runs all the way up to the top, and then round a sorting system using the Impulse SV designed for the item sorter. Now, the other thing that can happen is that you can have an additional mode where these slime blocks here retract, and there's an opening, and some water pours across, and they drop down into this area down the bottom, and they can then be killed with TNT. Which you can then obviously get the XP and the raredrops as well, and it's less taxing on the server than the other. So if I can come down here, I can flick this lever, and they'll start dropping down into this area, and then I can kill them with TNT and a flint and steel. So what I'll do is I'm going to open this up now in another world where I've done a little bit of MC editing to tidy up and make it really easy to see what's going on. So give me one sec, guys, and I will bring that back. So here we are in this other world. Same setup as you saw before. We've got items coming up the item elevator, but I've replaced all blocks that are important with stained glass. Obviously, unless they need to be a solid block, and in which case they're iron block. So if I were to push this button, it would drop an item onto here and send all the guardians through. But let's go down and have a look at the full farm, and we can see what's going on. Now, actually, interestingly, the bounding box for this farm is here. So you saw that I was stood on top of the stone box around it, and I've chosen to have the water quite low down, and the reason for that is that water at this level doesn't spawn any squid, so the guardians don't get, their AI doesn't kick in to do anything with the squid. They will entirely ignore any squids outside because they can't see them, and they'll just blindly drop out of here and into this sort of set of water channels, and they'll drop down through here. So they drop along, drop down into this middle bit. There's water across the edge of the signs here, so that if you have a solid edge where the water stops, they will try and jump out, and they won't go down efficiently. So this will help them go down into the lava or the tunnel efficiently. Then you've got the one layer of, these guys are really noisy. Hold on, let's turn them down. Star creatures. Hopefully that's better. Yeah. So they drop through there, and as before, they drop through here into this water stream. And if you're stood at the top, this area is out of your spawn radius, so they will instantly despawn if they somehow manage to survive. Now, sometimes they do manage to survive, and I believe, and I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I believe that some of the guys will fall through the first set of lava quite quickly and get quite a way through the cobwebs before they stop. So when they're still on fire when they fall through the next lot of lava, which means they take less damage, which means they then survive when they fall at the bottom of the last set of lava. So let's get out of here. Let's go and turn one of the other modes on, and we can see it in action. So I'll come through out here, and let's drop down, and we'll look at the TNT sort of AFK. It's not really AFK, but the TNT kill mode, where you can take care of these guys. So we'll flick this lever. What that's going to do is push up this slime block, which powers the repeater, sets out pulls up some pistons, which allow the water that's been stored behind here to flow along. And at the same time, this double piston extender has pulled away the glass from here, so they're now pouring down through the first lot of lava, so they're taking some damage, and then, but not getting through the second one, so they're not dying. And then they have a shortfall to the low level, which is Y is 6, so that's quite low, and underneath this is bedrock. So in the real world, so in the Hansap world, so they drop down here, and it doesn't take very long to build up a fair few. In fact, we've got 63, 64, so we're nearly at mob cap already. So yeah, so what we can do is, now that we've got a load of these guys, there's none flowing around in the water up there. There's none coming through the system, so we can go ahead and kill them. So we'll take a TNT. Now I'm in creative mode on this world, so I'm going to take some TNT, and I'm going to take a flint and steel, and let's set these guys off. So the beauty of this is you can put the TNT block there. Now this has been done with water from above. Actually interesting, I think in the Hansap world I might have had the water one block higher, but that's really a biggie. And there's also doors in the Hansap world, so you can walk in and pick up some of the stray XP. Because after doing this, I realised that sometimes the XP would get stuck, and the best way to get it would be to walk through and into the water. Interestingly, the Guardians can't get you, so that's no problem. So we can come along here, flick the TNTs, stand back, and they all get killed, and all the XP collects here, and we can just pick it all up. And whilst we're picking up the XP, more guys will be spawning at the top. You can just see them. You can see them falling down. And they'll start falling through the system. And there we go. It's the first guy in. It doesn't take long for them to build up the next lot. So you can get all the rare drops, especially if you've got a looting sword, and you can flick to your looting 3 sword. You can increase the chances of rare drops and increase the number of drops that you get generally, which is really good. So that's awesome. So then the other mode, which is a little bit more, how can I put it? A little bit more risky to use. I'll turn that off, and just what that's now done is push that back across. As before, piston extenders come through. It's pulled back the floor. We've interestingly got a guy stuck here. I've never seen this happen before. A few guys stuck there, in fact. Interesting. Perhaps I should have used dispensers and water buckets, maybe, I don't know. So let's look at the other mode. So before we sort of activate this, you'll notice there's a big portal there, and if we come across here, I've created a portal that's sort of a significant distance away in the overworld. If we pop through into the nether, which has also been cleared out. Wow, this must have been from a previous, must have pushed the button previously. So this is 209 mods. Let's get rid of those guys, shall we? Wow, they're so noisy. So I need to switch to 5. Oh, hello. Are you guys not wanting to die today? Oh, I know what I didn't do. Okay, there's a reason why that didn't work. There's actually another potion that I needed to throw through first. Okay, so let's collect all this stuff up. Oh dear. I've got XPs in my face. So, what I should have done was push the button. The button would have dispensed a poison onto them, which would have given them a good drop of health, and then a potion of instant harming would have been enough to finish them off, because they don't really take any damage when they're in the overworld, because they go straight through the portal. So, and they're not dropping very far or anything like that. So let's fly over, and let's go up to our little button at the top, and let's push it and just see what happens. So we push the button. Let's get these things out of my inventory. Let's just for a clear hand, shall we? So push the button, and that dispenses an item onto the pressure plate. The pressure plate obviously is now powered. It's pushing the pistons down. These pistons go all the way down, so we'll just drop down as quickly as we can. That powers redstone wires, which pushes the floor into place, pulls back the wall, sets up some water streams coming out, and therefore all the guys are going through into the nether. Now obviously being here, I'm reducing the spawn rates because they do spawn close to me. So I'm going to go up the top and I'm going to wait for that item to despawn, and that will help increase the number to the sort of max number that can be pulled out. So I'll stand here. I want to get to a point where I can actually see the item in there. Can I see the item from here? Nope. But I'll have to do the best AFK space is definitely over here. Yeah, we'll hang around here for a minute. So this sorting system at the top is using a standard design item elevator. I'll show you in a sec. But it's bringing the items up, all the drops that fall through from the two levels of lava and cobwebs. And then they're obviously coming at the item elevator and going through the sorting system. Now actually this doesn't have much of a sort. I haven't preloaded sorts into them, so what I've just done is said there's enough items, the one item in 4 slots, and left the first item empty. So the first item of a certain type coming through the system will set that sorter. That means that you've got stuff that you might have 2 chests side by side. Okay, so the item is still there, but yeah, so you might get something like prismarine shards and then fish, and there might be another shards and then shards, shards and fish, crystals, shards, nothing. So this isn't from very long AFKing, to be fair. This is probably a couple of hours of working up here, setting up the sorting system with it going, and items sort of coming up and dropping in. So I'm doing the second side. So this side was done first, that side was done second. So yeah, now of course, whilst you're in this mode, nothing is coming up. So you're losing all the drops that you would be sorting, actually going into the nether with the guardians. So we'll see. This is going to be a little while. So let's hang out here, and let's just take a look at what's going on Twitch. There seems to be something very strange going on Twitch. For some reason I can't seem to see what's going on. Very strange. Come on, Twitch. Apologies if there's any issues with the stream, guys. Normally I can see it fine, but for some reason today it's it's not really being very well behaved. Okay. So I think we probably going to have enough mobs by now, but we'll wait for this to fully do its thing. Now this design comes from a couple of things. So I've built, as I showed you the other day, I built the DocM Zip Crowd Guardian farm on the Autocraft server. That's great. I mean, it's really, really fast. But the problem is you don't get any of the rare drops. You don't get any puff fish. You don't get any of that stuff. So that can be a pain. Obviously, you don't get any XP from it. We don't really have an issue with XP because we have the gold farm and with the Ripper now. But yeah, if we wanted to have XP, there we go. That's finished. If we wanted to have XP from it, we'd obviously need to make a significant modification because the drop damage kills them and they don't drop any XP as a result. So the real solution to this was to have a completely different design. Now I like the design that XP Crafted has with the monument as a base. Obviously in this case, because there wasn't a monument to use for starters, Wow, that is crazy. Look at that. 968 mobs. Wow. That is something else. This is why you can't do this for more than 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is 1,000 mobs. 1,000 mobs. Wow. I know that Woolly Creeper has a farm on the Hypermine server, and that one has a really short time to produce mobs. Let's just get them out of my field of vision so that they have all dropped down more quickly. Gosh, they're still going. But yes, I thought that I wanted to have this design where you've got the multiple modes. And this little drop thing is actually really simple. It's a portal with a back so that they can't drop out the back, and then a 2 high drop from the portal so they drop onto here and they can't get back through the portal, and 2 high drops down and to here. So let's mute these guys because they are so loud. Okay, good, they're quiet. So first thing I'm going to now do is push this button, and they will get hit by a poison potion, and that will reduce their health to, I'm not entirely sure exactly how many hearts they get reduced to, but they're certainly a lot lower than what they would be normally. And so I'm just really distracted by the number of mobs here and how slow the machine is going as a result of this. So let's wait for this to kick off. Now I've left this for longer than 5 minutes before, and when I initially made the farm, I had the only mode was the portal mode. So you'd go up to the AFK point, which was where I was stood, and you would you'd stand there, and then I went into the Nether, and it immediately crashed the server. And the problem, obviously, with that is that we can't have the server crashing all the time. So so they've all stopped freaking out with the poison. So if I throw this and switch to my looting sword, let me just check what we've got in the chest. I almost want to kind of empty the chest out really, but let's just empty the chest so that we can see exactly what we get from 1 5 minute. Okay, so let's just chuck some of this stuff away. Let's get rid of all of this lot. Bye-bye stuff. You're all going over to the edge. I'm going to get rid of everything that isn't important or necessary. Looting sword, damage potion. Let's just drop down and get this last bit. Last few bits. So we should see anything I pick up and anything that goes in the chest is what we get from 986 mobs. Okay, so I'm going to throw the potion at them, and then I'm going to switch quickly to my looting sword, and hopefully that will give us the maximum rare drops. And there we go. We're down to a frame a second. And then the XP comes out, and the XP is ridiculous. Yeah. I saw a video on the Hypermine server, Snow Crash, going and looking at the not meme mode. Wow, looking at the Woolly Creeper farm and having a significant issue with how long it takes to absorb all of the the XPs. I can't switch to a different game mode, that's annoying. I'm going to put myself in game mode 0 so we can see how many XPs I'm actually getting. Never mind. It's a lot. You're level 50 easy, from 0 to level 50 in this. As you can see, it's just impossible to do anything in Minecraft. So you need to make sure that this area is protected from ghasts and whatnots. Which obviously in this world is easy because it's just void. I've removed all of the nether material around, and yeah, it's just this is crazy. How long did it take to absorb some XP? Let's open the game in that mode so we can get the game mode 0 going on. Come on, game mode 0. Game mode 0. Okay, so I've obviously had XP before. I should have cleared that down before I did the stream. Never mind. But yeah, I did I've done it twice before, so or maybe once before. No, twice before. So I would have been on the level 100 and something. Wow, this is so slow. What are we at? Frames a second. 1 frame a second. That's just primarily because there are 1,700 items sitting on top of that hopper. 1,700 items. Wow. That's just amazing. Yeah. It will get better. Oh, well, no, actually some of those entities will be the orbs, won't they, for the XP. Wow. Come on. You can do it, XP. Get absorbed. Sometimes it's a real shame that the XP doesn't get absorbed more quickly. Like, you think if it got absorbed really quickly, then the lag would be reduced, so you actually have, like, instant XP absorption. Especially when it's all flying around your head like this, because you can't do anything if you have this amount of XP, because it is just a green and yellow mess in front of your vision. Now, because I'm in this game mode, I should now be able to deposit these items, because there seems to be a bug in Forge where you can't deposit items. That's better. Okay, so if I walk up to here now, I'll do this in F5 because there's no point in me trying to switch to any other mode. If I collect some of these items, it might help with the lag a little bit. Okay, so that has increased it to 7 frames a second. Well, ish. Look at it, look at that. Totally ridiculous. I'm sure it's probably not helped by the fact that I'm streaming whilst doing this, and I've got another session of Minecraft open, AFKing with a Ripper. So yeah, I think probably that isn't helping things, but hey, never mind. Let's pop down and have a look in these chests, and let's see what's going on here. You definitely need a really powerful machine to be able to do this for sure. Come on. Let's walk down the stairs. Look at me with my red skin. If you can see me through the fog of XP orbs. And that's the thing about this farm. It is fast at producing significant amounts of XP. Problem obviously with that is actually being able to absorb it in any sort of fashion. Wow. This is mad. This is totally insane. I think probably the work that I did to make the world a void world in the overworld has only made matters worse. I think it probably was about 500. It is getting faster. I can hear the pinging noise more frequently. Yeah, I think the in the Hansap world, where it's in the server, there's a real world around, there's real caves, there's a real thing. It's not been lit up at all. There we go, look at that. It's now really cooking on gas now. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's happened. Has it just reached a point where there's under a certain number of items and it's found it easy to render? I don't know. Yeah, so in that world you get about 500 mobs because there's caves that have mobs in them, and because there's the mob farm that's running. It's just outside of your area of influence on the world, the 128 block radius that you have where mobs can despawn or automatically despawn. But if the mob doesn't spawn in the first place, then it's more likely to spawn inside your farm. And I think that's the thing here. Because the farm is the only place that can spawn, it will only spawn in the farm. Whereas in the Hansap world, it will try and spawn something within the chunks surrounding you. Those things will spawn and then instantly despawn because they're outside of the radius of your influence. There you go. So we're now up to 124 levels, and it's going to be feeding this slot in for hours probably. Let's get it all in there. Get you in there. Let's get you in there. You. And I would imagine there's going to be a bunch of stuff in there. There's so much stuff coming through that this chest has got stuff in it now. Yeah, so we're getting lots and lots of drops. A full double chest from one stack of one stack of 1,000 mobs. 1,000 mobs. That's madness. Okay, so that's the kind of XP, extreme XP mode. Let's not die, Richard. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, look. Game of 3. Okay. So, yeah, so that's the farm. Hope you guys liked it. It's certainly been a challenge to build. I've learnt a lot about redstone, certainly about double piston extenders, because I use generally that's the main mechanic that's used here. Double piston extender there, double piston extender there, an inverted double piston extender here, 4 on this level as well to do all of that stuff. And then obviously again I've used this slime block and redstone block combination to do the switching on and off, which works really, really well. It worked well at the farm that I have, and it worked well here. So if you guys are interested in having a copy of this world, this particular farm, not the Hansap world itself, but this particular farm, the glass one, then drop me a message on Twitter. My Twitter handle is ertymalad. I think it's also listed in my bio on Twitch. So click through there, send me a message, say please can you make it available. If I get enough people ask for it, then I shall probably put a copy of this in. This is just this farm. The rest of the world has been removed, so you won't get access to any of the other stuff. There's no secrets that can be that can be gleaned from it. But yeah, this will give you a good sort of ability to have a look around at what I've done, and you might be able to take some of those ideas for yourself and use them for your own farm. I certainly like the item elevator. It makes it much easier to AFK high up and wait for your items to come to you, rather than having to AFK in one place and then get your items elsewhere. And I didn't go as far as putting in the mine carts and all that sort of jazz on this one. I wanted to just get something for the demonstration here, and I used a similar design as I've used elsewhere on my on the Autocraft Guardian farm that I built there. Tried to keep it sort of symmetrical from below, symmetrical from above, with the exception of the water pool. Interestingly, this one is the one thing that I found to be quite useful, is the 3x3 water pool. The items don't always come up in the middle block, and so if you have just water in one place, then the items sometimes glitch up and come out on the side. And certainly we have that issue on the Autocraft server at the moment, where on the iron farm, where the iron will sit on the side and it will stack up. And obviously it will stack up to 64 before any other items will get into the water stream, which is not ideal. I'm not really that fussed, because we get so much iron and we never even get round to crafting the iron that we have. So I'm not really worried about losing iron there. But oh, look, there's my head. Look, you can see through. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, so I'm not really worried about losing any items, because there's so many of them, really. We're getting so many iron ingots that losing a stack every so often isn't a biggie. Certainly not for me. But yeah, I think the thing that's really kind of cool is if you set that 3x3 instead of having it as a one wide water stream, then it will catch those items even if they're not quite positioned inside the block well, which means you don't lose anything. And if you are, if you're looking to get 100% of the items that come out, then that's the best way to do it, to make sure that that you're not losing stuff. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it a night. It's quite late here, 1:30 in the morning. Hope you guys really liked it, as I said before. And something different for this stream. I didn't want to do some more survival building on the Autocraft. I've got a couple of other things like this that I might feature some interesting farm designs if you guys are interested. So please let me know. But yeah, I shall see you next time. So yeah, thanks for watching.